Go to Google and type Rathod's IAS. Then you can see our website Rathod's IAS Academy. There you have to click on login or register in the blue color. So if you have not registered yet, you have to click on do not have account and fill the details. So after once you have login, click on the courses. There you can see course list. And in this course list you can see wide range of courses. Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 26th June 2022. So let's get started with our discussion and let us try to see first topic. So first topic, it is from Indian Express and I am going to talk about gun safety bill of US. So actually why this gun safety bill is important? As you all know, there are a number of attacks which are mainly done in USA and they are mainly seen in news. So because of this, now government of USA want to control this gun and they all want to focus on this gun safety. So if we're talking about context, it mainly says that United States Senate passed a gun safety bill. The most important and most significant action, it is against rising gun violence in the country. Yes, mainly because of increase of this gun violence in the country. Here government of US which mainly want to curtail this and want to mainly focus on this gun safety. Okay, so here this bill, gun safety bill, which mainly passed in one house. Okay, so because of this is in news. And if you see some details, it mainly says that. So this bill which mainly passed on June 23rd after US Supreme Court ruled that Americans, they have a constitutional right to carry firearms in public for their safety and self-defense. So for their safety and for their self-defense, yes, here Americans, they have constitutional right to carry these firearms. So this is a Supreme Court judgment, okay. And after this bill which mainly passed in US on June 23rd. So if you're talking about some more details, the bill will now be sent to this Democrat dominant House of Representatives, that is the second house. So in the first house, this bill which mainly passed, and this bill which is mainly going to this second house, that is House of Representatives. And once this bill which is mainly passed in this house, then this bill will be sent for the president assent for his approval. And the bill has been called as the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. So the name of this bill will be like Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, and this bipartisan bill which mainly focuses on firearms and improving medical care in US. There is mainly focusing on firearms and also improving of medical care in the US. So this bill which mainly seeks to ensure strict background checks regarding gun buyers and especially regarding minors, they will be having a special focus. And the bill will also release funds for education institutions to expand their mental health resources and make schools safer. To make schools safer and as well as to make mental health resources, and they mainly came up with this bill. And the importance of this bill is it mainly focusing on strict background checks of gun buyers, especially minors, and they also focus on release of funds for this education institutions and to strengthen mental health resources as well. So we're talking about recent killings. Yes, the bill which mainly passed exactly after a month, okay, of this mass shootings in this Uvalde, Texas, where gunman stormed an elementary school and killed 21 people including 19 children. And this Uvalde incident which mainly came days after racial shooting in a Buffalo supermarket in New York, and there 10 black people, they were fatally shot. Okay, so there is increasing of violence. So because of this bill which mainly talks about the firearms. So now let us try to talk about next topic. It is about eco-sensitive zone. So what are eco-sensitive zones? Why are there protesters in Kerala against them? So here you need to know about what is this eco-sensitive zone and why here protesters, they are mainly fighting against them. So this article will be important from your environment and ecology, which mainly comes under your GS paper 3. And now let us try to talk about this topic. So if you see context, it mainly says that farmers. Okay, farmers in Kerala, they continue to protest across several high ranges of state against recent Supreme Court order to establish 1 kilometer of eco-sensitive zone around all protected areas, wildlife sanctuaries and as well as national parks. So recently Supreme Court came up with order that we need to establish 1 kilometer eco-sensitive zones around all protected areas and as well as wildlife sanctuaries, national parks. So because of this, now farmers in this Kerala, they continue to protest. Because they mainly says that yes, if they are going for this, government is going for this creation of eco-sensitive zones of 1 kilometer radius of this protected areas, that will lead to loss of livelihood for these farmers. So if you see details, it mainly says that as per National Wildlife Action Plan 2022 to 2016, here it mainly issued by Ministry of Environment. It mainly says that land within 10 kilometers of boundaries of this national park and wildlife sanctuaries, they to be notified as eco-fragile zones or eco-sensitive zones. So earlier, as per this National Wildlife Action Plan, it says that 10 kilometers of boundaries of this national parks and wildlife sanctuary, they are to be notified as this eco-fragile zone or eco-sensitive zone. So while 10 kilometer rule, it is implemented as a general principle, the extent of its application can vary. So areas beyond this 10 kilometers, they can be notified by union government as eco-sensitive zones if they hold larger ecologically important sensitive corridors. So here this article which mainly says that, so according to this National Wildlife Action Plan of 2012 to 2002 to 2016, it mainly says that it is like 10 kilometer rule. So if we are implementing this 10 kilometer rule, then what happen? So it will mainly have some impact on economy. Okay, so while 10 kilometer rule is implemented as general principle, the extent of its application can vary, because in some areas we will be having forest area, in some areas we do not have forest area around this national parks, etc. So because of this, from region to region, so it may vary. So which are the activities which may be allowed and prohibited in this area? So in this ecologically sensitive zone, okay, in this ecologically sensitive zone, it is not meant for hampering of daily activities of people and who are living in these areas, but these areas which are mainly meant to guard the protected areas and to refine the environment which is present around them. And the guidelines, they mainly list the activities which are mainly prohibited in this ecologically sensitive zone. For example, commercial mining is not allowed, sawmills is not allowed, commercial use of wood, it is mainly not allowed. So these are some important regulated activities. And lastly, there are permitted activities like ongoing agricultural or horticulture practices, rainwater harvesting, organic farming. So these are some important activities which are mainly permitted. And if you are talking about what are these eco-sensitive zones, why we are going for creating of this eco-sensitive zone. So this eco-sensitive zone which mainly act as a shock absorbers for protected areas, and they want to minimize the negative impact on these fragile ecosystems, and they want to curtail some certain human activities. And these areas which are mainly meant to act as a transition zone from areas requiring higher protection to those areas which require the lesser protection areas. Okay, so it is mainly acting as a transition zone. So if we have a national park here, so around this we will be having a buffer area or transition zone, and this will be less protected area, and this is high protected area. So now let us try to see some eco-sensitive zones in India. So here you can see Sultanpur National Bird Sanctuary, Haryana, and Okla Bird Sanctuary, Noida, Sundarbans, Western Ghats, Pulicat Bird Sanctuary, Bandipur National Park and Tiger Reserve, Karnataka, and we can see Karnataka Bird Sanctuary in Mumbai. So here in this Kerala also we have this eco-sensitive area, but these are most important. And now let us try to see next topic. It is from The Hindu. So scientists warns of Zika spread. So here we need to talk about this Zika virus. So this will be important from our science and technology point of view. And this topic will be important from your prelims. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that scientists from this National Institute of Virology, Pune, they mainly have some raised concerns about the spread of this Zika virus, and why it is very much cause of concern now, because we are also seeing some co-infections with this Zika, that is dengue, chikungunya, some other diseases. Okay, so because of this, it is one of causes of concern and has been never been reported earlier. And if you are talking about some important details, it mainly says that scientists, they have called for urgent strengthening. They have called for urgent strengthening of surveillance and even circulation of the Zika virus, which was detected in Delhi, Jharkhand, Rajasthan, Punjab, Telangana in 2021, and even in some areas of Kerala, Maharashtra and UP also we found there are some of cases of this Zika virus. And researchers, they also found that co-infection of this Zika, dengue and chikungunya, so which they said was another concern. In many places there was a need to be aware and to take some preventive measures. So here researchers mainly says that yes, in this Zika virus now we are seeing some co-infections like dengue, etc. So because of this, we need to take more precautionary measures or more preventive measures. So this Zika virus, it is a vector-borne flavivirus, and it may be transmitted by the bite of infected Aedes mosquito, mainly that is Aedes aegypti, Aedes albopictus mosquitoes. So if you are talking about some facts regarding this Zika virus, it is a mosquito-borne flavivirus, and this virus, which was mainly first identified in this Uganda in 1947, the first mainly identified in monkeys, and was later identified in humans in 1952 in Uganda and as well as United Republic of Tanzania. So if you are talking about this Zika virus disease, it mainly caused by virus which mainly transmitted primarily by this Aedes mosquito, okay, and mainly caused by Aedes aegypti mosquito. So if you are talking about this mosquito, which also causes this some other disease causing vector parasites, for example dengue, chikungunya, yellow fever, etc. So one important concern of this Zika virus here is, if at all any pregnant woman who got this virus, means yes, the baby fetus having a very less size of head, that is called as microcephaly, right? And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding Kerala to have its own regional red list of birds. So this article will be important from your GS paper 3 under environment and ecology point of view. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that Kerala will soon have its own red list of birds. So it is going to have this own red list of birds, and the Kerala Bird Monitoring Collective, which mainly led by Kerala Agriculture University and Bird Count, will conduct the red list assessment. So here Kerala said that it is going to come up with its own red list of birds. The Kerala Bird Monitoring Collective, which mainly led by Kerala Agriculture University and the Bird Count India, they will conduct this regional red list assessment. So who are going to conduct this red list assessment? It is by Kerala Agriculture University and as well as Bird Count India. So if you see details, it mainly says that once this mainly get ready means, so it will be the first state to have this region specific red list of birds. Okay, so this is about this topic, and actually here the assessment will be done based on the guidelines of this IUCN. And if you are talking about some facts regarding this IUCN, so IUCN guidelines for preparing the red list, which have 5 minimum criteria or 5 main criteria. So first one, we need to focus on the population size reduction. So population size reduction, which mainly measured over 10 years or 3 generations in one of these major guidelines. So population size reduction, which mainly measured over 10 years, okay, and it is for 3 generations. And this geographical range of this base of this extent of occurrence or area of occupancy, which is also taken into consideration. So we are mainly taking into consideration like geographic area, so still which extent they are present, and the small population size and decline, and even very small or restricted population, that can also be taken into consideration, or this will be also one more criteria. So according to this IUCN Red List, so Kerala has about 35 threatened species of bird, and in that here we are having some species like a red-headed vulture, white-rumped vulture, they are critically endangered. So apart from that, stipple eagle and as well as Banasura chilappan, Nilagiri chilappan, they are also endangered. So apart from this 11 species, they are vulnerable. So if you are from Kerala and if you are preparing for interview, yes, you have to prepare this data as well. And next one is the list. According to this global assessment report, it mainly says that there are many changes that we can see at the regional level. So Kerala Bird Monitoring Center or Bird Monitoring Corrective, which mainly planning to come up with this red list for this state in this year. Okay, so here Kerala Bird Atlas, which already came up, so it mainly contains about 3 lakh records of this 361 species, and mainly includes like 94 very rare species and 103 rare species and 110 common species and 44 they were very common species, and 10 most abundant species they are mainly found, and these are the records according to this Kerala Bird Atlas accounts. So according to the Atlas, the most endemics they are concentrated in the Western Ghats, and that led to threatening of species of this species. Okay, that mainly led to this threatened species. They were sighted mostly along the coast. So what happened according to this Atlas? It mainly says that most endemic birds which are mainly seen in this Western Ghats. Okay, while some threatened species they are mainly sighted even along the coast. Okay, so this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. Title says Hasina opens Padma multi-purpose bridge. So actually this bridge across this river Padma. So this is very important from international relations, which mainly comes in the GS paper too. So now let us try to talk about this topic, and this is the image of this bridge you can see on the screen. So if you see context, it mainly says that the government of India has congratulated Bangladesh on completion of this Padma multi-purpose bridge. So if you see details, it mainly says that, so praising the leadership of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, so the Indian High Commission in Dhaka said this infrastructure project which illustrates how bold decision-making abilities and that India has always supported for the development initiatives of this Bangladesh. So here Indian High Commission which mainly said that yes, India it is always supporting for the development initiatives in Bangladesh. So Padma bridge will not only help for the internal connectivity of this Bangladesh, but even it will be helpful for improving of trade logistics between India and Bangladesh. And the bridge will play an important role in improving of this India-Bangladesh and submerged links as well. So this Padma multi-purpose bridge, it is one of the biggest infrastructure projects of Bangladesh. So apart from that, so the success which mainly proves to resolve this Prime Minister Hasina, which mainly strongly believed in is, okay, so here this is success which mainly proves to resolve this Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina what we strongly believed. So India which mainly extended unwavering support for this Bangladesh to set or to decide regarding the self-finance and as well as construction of this project. And actually the importance of this project here is, so this bridge which mainly connects at least 20 districts of this Bangladesh, and even we are expecting that there will be like faster transportation of the goods and commodities etc. Okay, and even it will also helpful for connecting of this Nepal and as well as Bhutan. And this is the bridge that you can see on the screen. So the cost here is 30,193 crore, that is $3.86 billion rupees, and the length of this main bridge is just 6.15 kilometers, and the span here is 41. Okay, so these are some important details. And if you see, this is Padma river, and from here to here we came up with this Padma dam. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding Udaipur's bird village to be declared wetland. So this article is very important because here we are focusing on wetland. So in this topic you have to know about what is this wetland and what are the ecological services which are mainly provided by this wetland and what are the threats which are mainly faced by this wetland. And you have to know some important wetlands which are present in India as well. So this topic will be very important from your environment and ecology, which mainly comes under GS paper 3 again. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you're talking about context, it mainly says that here recognized as birds village following community driven conservation efforts. So Mainar in Udaipur district is said to be notified as Rajasthan's new wetland. So Rajasthan new wetland, which is that? So here Mainar in Udaipur district, which is mainly going to be notified as this Rajasthan's new wetland. So we're talking about some important details. So this paves the way for getting this Ramsar site status for the rural heartland of this Mewar region. And the two lakes which are already present here is like the Brahma Dant. Okay, so the two lakes in this village, that is Brahma and as well as Dan, they play an important role, or they are going to host a large number of migratory bird species in this winter season. So if we're talking about details, it mainly says that the state government's forest department has initiated the process of this notification of this Mewar as a wetland. Okay, so which will recognize its role in the shortage of the sediment and as well as nutrients. Yes, here wetlands are very important, and even 2022 prelims there was one question regarding this wetlands. Okay, I discussed that in great detail. So if you see here, the state government and as well as forest department, they mainly initiated the process of notification of this Mewar as a wetland. So if we're talking about the status of wetland, these two lakes, they will be strengthened with increasing vegetation of aquatic plants, and even we are mainly going for promoting of the biodiversity here. And next one is ecological activities in this region. They have high expectations of the declaration of this Mainar as a Ramsar site. So here environmental activists in this region, they have very high expectations. Under this 1971 Ramsar Convention on this wetland of international importance, so the presently here Rajasthan, which have mainly two wetlands. First one is Kyoladiyo and second one here is Bharatpur. Okay, so this Kyoladiyo, which is present in the Bharatpur district, and the second one here is Sambar Salt Lake, and this Sambar Salt Lake, which is mainly located in Jaipur. So Sambar Salt Lake, which is located in Jaipur, and the second one here is Kyoladiyo, which is present in this Bharatpur district. So we are talking about what is the importance of this step or declaration of this area as a wetland. So as you all know that more than 150 species of this migratory birds, they are mainly inhabiting in these two lakes in winter season. So some of the examples are gilt flamingo, white-tailed lapwing, pelican, marsh harrier, bar-headed goose, and as well as common teal. So because of this here we need to go for conservation. And the bird lovers and the tourist flocks to the village after the arrival of the migratory birds, okay, from their Central Asian as well as European and as well as Mongolia regions. So we're talking about what are the steps taken by the villagers of the local community. Yes, local community, they mainly participated here mainly for the conservation. So villagers, they mainly stopped using water from the lakes for irrigation, and they started using this regular weeding to get rid of this water hyacinth. So this water hyacinth, it is one of the invasive species. So mainly they are going for removing of this weed. And next one is when the water level declines in summer, so we fill the lakes with the water through the tankers or saving of the for the saving of the fish and as well as birds. So this is about this topic, and now let us try to see the locations. So here we have Sambar Lake, and here we have this Kyoladiyo National Park. And now let us try to see next topic, it is regarding drug resistance. So typhoid is more drug resistant. So this topic is important from your science and technology, which mainly comes under your GS paper 3. And if you're talking about this article, which mainly says that bacteria causing this typhoid fever, that is Salmonella typhi, is becoming increasingly resistant to some parts of the most important antibiotics for human health. So if you are getting any fever, yes, if you are going for any medical practitioner, they will be giving you paracetamol along with this antibiotics. So here bacteria which is mainly causing this typhoid fever, that is Salmonella typhi, which is mainly becoming more drug resistant day by day. So if you see details, it mainly says that large genomic analysis of this Salmonella typhi also shows that resistant strains, almost all originating in the South Asia, they had to spread over estimates near 2200 times since 1990. So since 1990 onwards, this Salmonella typhi, which is mainly developing this resistant or restrained strains, and the researchers which mainly note that here this typhoid fever, it is a global public health concern, and it mainly causes 11 million infections and more than 1 lakh death per year. And antibiotics which can be used for this treatment of this typhoid, okay, especially those are not showing much effectiveness against the treatment of this typhoid because of this resistance. So the speed at which highly resistant strains of this Salmonella typhi that have emerged and spread in the recent years, it is one the cause of concern here. So in this context, we need to focus on efforts that can helpful mainly to expand prevention measures, particularly countries which are at a greater risk. And this one is in the new study here, the researchers performed whole genome sequencing of about more than 3,500 Salmonella typhi isolates, okay, from the blood sample, and they found that especially 2014 and 2019 samples, they have these samples, and these samples are mainly collected in this Bangladesh, India, Nepal, Pakistan, etc. So they are mainly confirmed with this typhoid. So here, whenever we are going for this study, they mainly went for collection of about 4,200 Salmonella typhi samples, and they came with isolation of more than 70 countries between this 1905 to 2008. And finally, they mainly traced some resistance, okay, regarding this microlids and as well as quinolones that is mainly seen here. So analysis mainly shows that Salmonella typhi strains have spread between the countries, that is 197 times since 1990. Since 1990 onwards, there is a large scale spread of the Salmonella typhi that is mainly seen, and with these strains most often occur within South Asia, and from South Asia to Southeast Asia and Southern Africa as well. Okay, so now let us try to see how this antibiotic resistance happens. So if you see in this first slide or first thing, you can see there are a lot of germs. Okay, for example, let us take their Salmonella typhi, and whenever we are using antibiotics, it tries to kill all the organisms. But what happens, some intelligent organisms, they will be having their own mechanisms, and they will be creating shell, or they will be act against this DNA, okay, DNA alteration or protein synthesis alteration, etc. So after that, whenever one organism which is present, and that will be going to double, okay. So in this way, some bacteria, they give their drug resistance to this other bacteria as well. So if you're talking about some facts regarding this typhoid, actually this typhoid is a life-threatening systemic infection, and this infection which is mainly caused by Salmonella typhi, okay, it is commonly called as Salmonella typhi, and mainly carried only by humans, but no animal which is mainly characterized, okay. And if you're talking about symptoms, the symptoms and signs of typhoid ranges from mild to severe, and it can last for about 1 month without treatment, and it may also include fever, fatigue or tiredness, malaise, sore throat, persistent cough, and as well as headache, etc. So if we're talking about prevention, yes, we have vaccine. So typhoid vaccine is mainly available for an oral medication as an oral medication, okay, because if you're talking about this COVID-19, you are taking intramuscular injections, but it is not the case for these vaccines of this typhoid. And if you're talking about capsules, so for adults and children who are mainly present over the age of 6 years, this mainly helps as a life attenuated vaccines. And for adults, children who are over the age of 2 years, so we are going to give some inactivated vaccines, and typhoid vaccine is only 50 to 80% effective. And if you're talking about treatment for this, yes, we have treatment that is mainly antibiotic therapy. Okay, so now let us try to see yesterday's questions. So first one is, which of the following major works deals with this temple architecture? So first one is Maya Mada, second one is Mansara, next one is Shilparatna, and fourth one is Kashyapa Shilpa. So all these are made related to this temple architecture. And next one is Mansabdars. So Mansabdars, they were integral part of Mughal bureaucracy. So Mansab means the status of its holder in official hierarchy, yes, and they will have fixed amount of pay, yes. Next one is obligation on maintaining the specific number of consignments in horses, with the horses and as well as equipment, yes. So all these were correct. So correct option is 4. And these are today's questions. The first one is regarding Delhi Sultanates and second one is regarding Sufism. So try to join these courses for try to give the answers for this questions. And I want to make a small announcement of the courses that we are offering in our Rathod Sciences. So we came up with this foundation course for 2022 and 2023. So this will be very important. And next one here is, if you want to appear the this exam for this 2023, so this course will be very useful, and even 2023-2024 foundation course will also be there. And validity of this course here, it is 2 years, and we are providing more than 600 hours of video classes so that you can cover each and every topic in your syllabus. And apart from this, we also came up with this mains answer writing practice course, and this course of validity which is 1 year. So it is a 1 year course, and we are giving weekly targets. On based on this weekly targets, daily one question will be given, and there will be evaluation of your answer, and we also provide you model answer, and one-to-one mentorship will be there. And this July batch is going to be start from the 3rd of July. So here you can see this mains answer writing course which is present at the last. And you can visit our website Rathod IAS Academy, and you can click on the course list, and you can see the number of courses that we are offering in our Rathod IAS Academy. And finally, if you want to watch any demo videos, you can click on the play code so that you can watch 3 demo videos which are free of cost. And after that, you can go for purchasing of this course. And if you have any doubts, so please call me on this number 8074765513. And it's also the WhatsApp number, and you can also text me on this WhatsApp number. Okay, and if you want to get the PDF of this today's class, you can join the Telegram channel. Link is given in the description box. And now let us try to see today's Hindu PDF. So this is our today's Hindu, and date here is June 26, and this is Delhi edition that I am showing on the screen. So first topic, it is about this Zika spread. I discussed about this topic, and here you can see one interesting image. So it is about people. They are mainly searching for the coins which are mainly thrown into this river Yamuna by these devotees, and you can know about the status of pollution in this river Yamuna. And if you move forward, you can ignore this page, and here you can see Himachal Pradesh government assures jobs to this Agni weeds. So it is one important development that we can see in this state. And if you move forward, here in the states page, you can see Sterlite plant sale could impact investor confidence in Tamil Nadu. So actually we know about what is the Sterlite issue, and what is the Supreme Court judgment regarding this, and why the Sterlite company had been closed. And if you move forward, here you can see the first patient of animal hospice in Wayanad Sanctuary. So here you need to know about where is this Wayanad Sanctuary is present, and you have to see the geographical location. And I discussed about this Kerala's red list. And if you move forward, and you can see this article that is Pakistan opposes G20 events in this Kashmir. So here you need to know about upcoming G20 event. And if you move forward, there is one article regarding this Justice Juvenile Act. You can go through that. And next one is regarding Padma multi-purpose bridge. I discussed this topic. And if you move forward, here in this newspaper, you can see salt sector crisis pinches livelihood of lakhs. So actually, there is no MSP for this salt. So because of this is salt sector which is mainly seen in crisis, seeing some concerns. So we have to know about that topic. And if you move forward, you can see Udaipur's bird village to be declared wetland. I discussed this topic. And if you move forward, here you can see Iran US nuclear talks to resume soon. So this article which is mainly talking about JCPOA, that is Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. So you can refer that. And this one is protesters, they decry US abortion rulings. So in yesterday's lecture, I discussed about this US abortion ruling. So you can revise that topic once. And the science and technology, there is one article regarding aerosol study shows how this SARS coronavirus 2 which mainly spreads. Okay, so here you need to know about what is the meaning of aerosol. And next article, it is like every reinfection increases the risk to health. So what happened, as you all know, if you are getting this coronavirus and after some time again you will be get reinfected by this COVID-19. So this study which mainly says that if you are getting reinfection, yes, it will be having some impact on your health. And next one is typhoid. Typhoid, that is S. typhi is more drug resistance. I discussed this topic. And if you move over here, you can see fighting type 2 diabetes mellitus or type 2 diabetes pandemic. So here what happened, especially the people who are suffering with this type 2 diabetes mellitus, they need to limit the using of rice. They can go for alternative like rice, maize and high protein grains, vegetables. They need to be included in their diet, such that will mainly helps to fight against this type 2 diabetes mellitus. And next one is regarding Black Death. I discussed this topic in our earlier lectures. So these are some important articles that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I'm concluding. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. So please subscribe to Rathod Science Academy and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. Thank you so much.